Hi guys. Yes, I'm in the car. It's been a crazy busy week, but I have no excuse not to make you a video because, hey, I got an iPhone. So I want to answer a couple of the questions that I got this week. I got some of them through email, some of them on Twitter, but one of them was, what social media tool should I use? What is best, for me to use for my business? This is definitely an individual business question, because what I would do is I would look at all the social media tools, and then I would determine the 2 or 3 that are most comfortable for me. Some people swear by Twitter. Some people swear by Facebook. But if you never really got the hang of Facebook, or you don't feel comfortable using it, that may not be the social media tool for you. You want a tool that you're going to be comfortable using so that you use it often, because the name of the game is consistency. So you have to pick one that you like using so that you use it often. I do swear by Twitter. I just learned Twitter probably October or so of 2011, and I absolutely love it. It is one of the most efficient, best ways to search for people, professionals, experts, clients, leads, etc., and usually get a quicker response time than doing like a blind email to someone's contact page on their website. So I absolutely love Twitter, and I love Facebook for branding. My third tool that I use a lot is LinkedIn, because you can present yourself as an expert, you can find experts, and the advanced search feature on LinkedIn is absolutely wonderful. So to answer that question, I would pick the tool that I feel the most comfortable using, that I know I'm going to consistently use 3 to 4 times a week, preferably every day, but at least 3 to 4 times a week. Pick the 3 that you like the most, that you can handle, that you will use on a regular basis, okay? All right, question 2. This came from Chriselle. How do I make my webinars more interactive? This is a really, really, really good question. And Chriselle, I'm very glad that you're even interested in making your webinars interactive and entertaining, as well as informative. Because sometimes you can go to a webinar and you leave in 5 minutes because it's so freaking boring. It doesn't give you any information, and it's just a waste of time. Even if it's online, it could be a waste of time. So I have 5 ways to make your webinar a little bit more interactive. I use these ways. So it could be a good way for you to use, for things for you to use. Number 1, use polls. I like to do a poll for every 15 minutes of the webinar. So for an hour webinar, 4 polls. And GoToMeeting, GoToWebinar makes this very easy. You can set up the polls in advance and then just hit the button when you want the poll question to go out. So I set up questions with, if I'm about to teach on a specific subject, I might say, okay, who's paying a PR expert? That's a very quick question, and it gets the audience, active in your webinar. And so they respond. So you can see basically the percentage of how many people in your webinar responded to the poll. And it kind of wakes them up like, oh, okay, let me answer. She just asked a question. So poll questions are like a phenomenal way to get, the energy back into your webinar and to get people active in your webinar. So definitely try polls. Another thing is quizzes. Quizzes are really good. You can take a quiz at the beginning of your webinar. You can take it at the end. You can take it at the middle to see if your attendees are learning the lesson that you're giving. Just give a quiz. Those are very easy to set up on GoToWebinar, GoToMeeting as well. You can set them up in advance and just hit a button when you want the quiz to come out. Another way is, when you're doing a webinar, you have an option of setting up a presentation, kind of like PowerPoint slides. I use it sometimes I don't. It just depends on what we're teaching on. But you can definitely do a presentation. But keep in mind, just as you would for a speaking engagement, you want the presentation to be interactive. Do not read to your audience. That is so boring. That will make people leave your webinar. But try using video. Implement a couple of 1-minute videos in your webinar, just where you get to a certain slide and you hit play. That will get people's attention. Also, use a lot of photos. Okay, tip number 4, use a lot of photos, use graphs. People really want to see, a photo explanation as opposed to just a bullet point. I wouldn't use bullet points that much at all. You're probably doing the webinar at home. You can read your own bullet points. If I'm going to do a presentation, it's going to be photos, videos, something that's visual that catches the eye. And the last tip with doing webinars is that you need to practice a lot. I know that a lot of people don't like to be on video, and I don't like to be on video, but I know that practicing the webinar over and over and over, it will get you more acclimated to how to use the tool and how to, keep the flow going with your webinar. A lot of people will do a webinar and they don't like the results of it and they stop. That makes absolutely no sense at all. Do the webinar. If you don't like it, take notes of what you like, what you didn't like, what you could do better, and jump back in the seat again and do another one the next week. I tell people this all the time. Do another one the next week. And if you don't like being on video, you don't have to be on video. You can just do a voice webinar. I do a lot of those. But with the video, keep in mind that no one really cares what you look like. No one cares that I'm in the car right now and I'm pulled over in a parking lot. All you really care about is the information. Is the information good? Can I use it right now? So don't worry about being on video. Don't worry about stuttering or making mistakes. Just worry about giving very, very, very good, valuable, timely information that your audience can use right then, that will help their business, help their company, help their lives. Make sure you stress the benefits. So just wanted to stop in for a second and answer a couple of questions while I'm on the road, but make sure that you send in your questions. You can post them on the fan page, or you can email them to me at Christy@Women CEO Project and put Expert Biz question, and I will definitely try to get your questions answered for you. Okay, guys? Bye-bye.